We are 2 weeks down of the NFL preseason with one game to go, so I thought this be the perfect time to project the 53-man roster. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I am your host, Brett Alper, and I see a lot of people doing this over on Patriots Twitter, all the media outlets. So, we have seen, kind of assessed 2 games now of what we think the Patriots team should be, what players who have stood out, what players have made their spots on the roster, what players should be cut. And I think that it's a perfect time to predict this 53-man roster and what it is going to look like. We still have one game to go, but I have a feeling that Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, and the rest of the Patriots coaching staff just kind of has gotten their assessment of everybody, and they kind of have an idea of what this 53-man roster is going to be. We do have a game on Thursday against the Cleveland Browns, so we'll have to wait and see. But roster cutdown day is Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And we are going to have a full-on video breaking down the entire roster, going through. And we'll also have updates throughout the week for all the cuts that happen so far. Because games on Thursday, we're going to get cuts on Friday. We're going to get cuts on Saturday. So make sure you hit that sub button right now so you stay up to date on who is going to make the roster. All right, let's go in. Let's start with the quarterbacks, of course. And I got Drake Maye, Tommy DeVito, and I think that Baron Morton has earned his spot. Last year, the Patriots kept 3 quarterbacks on the roster. We saw them with Drake Maye, Josh Dobbs, and Tommy DeVito as the emergency. This year, Drake Maye, DeVito, and Baron Morton as the emergency third. I still see a little bit of a QB battle going on here after the first couple of games that we saw in preseason. Baron Morton looks great. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a battle between the 2 quarterbacks, but overall, I think these are going to be the 3. All 3 of them are going to make the roster. Now it gets a little interesting with the Patriots running back room. And I have Larison making the team over Jam Miller. I think that they are going to keep 4 running backs because obviously you have Reggie Gilliam as your fullback making the 53-man roster. But overall, I think that Larison, specifically after what he did on Saturday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, that he deserves to get this 3rd role as that backup running back. Because when you look at what he did on Saturday compared to what Jam Miller did, and Jam Miller's still a good talent. I think he's going to be on the practice squad. But Larison, 33 rushing yards, 3 catches, 41 yards, a touchdown. So that's 74 yards of offense total. Then you have Jam Miller. Well, no targets, no catches, and only 36 yards. And he has no special teams role on this roster. So I think that Larison is going to be that guy that fills that role. He's earned it for playing all sides of the ball, for offense and also special teams. He needs to get a little bit better at pass blocking, but overall, I think that he has that ability to really kind of impact this team a lot. He has a triple threat. He has running, receiving, and special teams. The Patriots see that, and they're like, okay, you're going to be on this roster. And I've said this multiple times before. I get Rex Burkhead vibes from Mr. Larison, and I think that he is going to be on this team. But it's not up to me. It's up to the coaching staff. So I want to ask you guys, go down in the comment section. Who is going to make this team? Is it going to be Larison or is it going to be Jam Miller? You let me know down in the comment section. If you're going with Larison, type your LLs. If you're going with Jam Miller, type your JMs down in the comment section. We're going to get to more of this 53-man roster projection, my projection, in just a bit, guys. But first, I got to go over our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. You know it's the best place to win cash while watching sports. You still got basketball going on in the W, but football is officially back, and you can make those preseason lineups, but you also have other sports going on. You have big golf tournaments, baseball as well, and motorsports every single Sunday. This weekend, they are at Daytona International Speedway, so you might want to make a lineup for that one. You also have the season-long lineups for football as well as basketball, guys. And for me, well, I'm going to stick with the season long for football, of course. We got the more on A.J. Brown and his receiving yards at 999.5. We got the more on Drake Maye passing touchdowns, and we got the more on Travion Henderson and his rushing yards at 699.5. You guys can make a lineup just like that one. The app is super easy to use. All you got to do is just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. And the new user offer is a new offer. Play your first $5 and get $150 in bonus lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right, Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join, lock in, and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, taking a look at the wide receivers. And some people They have 6. I have the Patriots keeping 7 wide receivers on this roster. A.J. Brown, Romeo Doubs, Matt Collins, Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, Efton Chisholm, and, of course, Pop Douglas. And from what I have seen throughout the last couple of weeks, throughout training camp, throughout the preseason, you have to keep 7 wide receivers on this roster. There is no way, shape, or form that you can go out and say, all right, let's cut Kyle Williams. All right, let's cut Efton Chisholm. They provide too much for this team. You saw in the preseason game on Saturday, Kyle Williams had a 70-yard bomb, but you also saw Efton Chisholm maneuver his way through the middle of the field, catch 4 passes for 45 yards. And he has done this in camp, he has done this in joint practice, and he has done this in the preseason games. You cannot cut either of them. They are both going to be on this roster, and the Patriots are keeping 7 wide receivers. And Mike Vrabel, he's talked about it. He said players that stood out on Saturday's game, these are the 5. And just look right here. Efton Chisholm is one of those players. 4 catches for 45 yards. Kyle Dixon was also one of them, but there's just not enough roster spots on there for Dixon, as well as I think Cameron Dorner has played good too. So there's just not enough. So it's just they're keeping 7. You're going to have to find a spot on the team where you're going to not keep as many players because you just can't cut either Kyle Williams and you can't cut Efton Chisholm. Kyle Williams looks good. In the preseason, he's had 2 touchdowns. He's had 70 yards in almost both of these games. He's had 4 catches. And overall, he's only played like the first quarter. And he's made that presence. So I just think that they are going to keep 7. Now, there's also the possibility of Kayshon Boutte being traded. Well, I think that Kayshon Boutte will not be traded. I think Kayshon Boutte is staying on this roster unless a team comes in with a huge offer. And that offer being a 4th-round pick or better. If someone comes in with a 4th, if someone comes in with a 3rd, then the Patriots will probably say, okay, well, we need some draft capital. We'll go out and we'll trade Kayshon Boutte. But overall, I think they're keeping 7 wide receivers, and I'm pretty much guaranteeing that at this point. A lot of people are as well. For the tight end room, there's not much to kind of go into this. Hunter Henry, Eli Reardon, I think Tanner Arkin has earned his role as the tight end 3. If they were going to bring someone else or have someone else as the tight end 3, they would have signed somebody. I don't think Jack Westover or C.J. Dupree has played as well as Tanner Arkin, specifically in a blocking standpoint, so I got these guys making the roster. Now moving on to the offensive line. I have 9 guys on the offensive line. You got your starters in Campbell, Tucker, Vera Tucker, Wilson on Wenu, and also Moses. Caleb Lomu, Marcus Bryant, Demetrius Crownover, and Greg Van Roten are so far making this roster. I think Greg Van Roten, I have the Patriots cutting James Hudson III, but you might be missing a guy on this list, and you might be asking yourself, well, Brett, where the hell is Ben Brown? Well, he'll be there. Trust me. But I think the Patriots keep 9 offensive linemen so they can keep 7 wide receivers. You're not going to have your 10th offensive lineman on the roster, but you also have Ben Brown. That's your 10th guy. But I think with the injury that Ben Brown suffered in that first game against the Indianapolis Colts, I think he's most likely going to go on PUP or going to go on IR, so he'll miss the first 4 weeks or 6 weeks of the season. Then the Patriots can assess going through those first couple of weeks of the season and kind of see, okay, what do we have here? Where can we find somebody to cut so we can bring Ben Brown in so we have 10 players, 10 offensive linemen on the roster? It just makes sense for the Patriots. Moving on to the defense. 6 guys. Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Corey Durden, Joshua Farmer, Leonard Taylor III, and Eric Gregory. I have them keeping 6 interior defensive linemen, and it really came down to who's going to make this roster. Leonard Taylor or Jeremiah Pharms. And that was kind of my thought process on I have to pick one of these 2 because I think everybody else. I think that Joshua Farmer has locked it in. Corey Durden has locked it in. I think Eric Gregory has locked it in. So who is going to be? Is it going to be Pharms or is it going to be Taylor? And after the preseason, I kind of have to go with Leonard Taylor here just because when you look at the stats, I mean, Pharms really hasn't done much, like 1 tackle in 44 snaps. Leonard Taylor has 3. He also has a pass breakup and then 3 pressures compared to 5. But overall, the run stoppage is a lot better for Leonard Taylor from the PFF grades. Leonard Taylor has a 71.7 compared to Jeremiah Pharms, who has that 41.3. And I also think they just have a little soft spot for Leonard Taylor because he was the guy who tipped that ball on the field goal in the AFC Championship game to put the Patriots in the Super Bowl, basically. So I think that Leonard Taylor gets the nod. I think that Jeremiah Pharms immediately goes in to the practice squad, unless somebody claims him off waiver. But I think he will be on this practice squad and probably will get the call up a lot of the time, so it's not that big of a deal. But Leonard Taylor III gets the call to be on the 53-man roster. Going to the edge rushers, right now I have 5. But you see I have an asterisk next to Harold Landry III's name, but we have Draymond Jones, Gabe Akis, Elijah Ponder, and I'm putting Brenden Swinson on the list. I think he has looked good in a couple of games so far against the Indianapolis Colts, against the Philadelphia Eagles. He looks like he's definitely improved, and I think that he's kind of made the nod and proved to himself and to the coaches that he deserves to be on this roster. But I have the asterisk next to Harold Landry because we still don't know if he's going to be healthy going into this season. I mean, he might start on IR. He might start on the PUP list. We have no idea, but he has yet to practice as of late. And Mike Vrabel, when asked about this, he really hasn't given us an update. He said this. He said, I'm not going to pretend to predict that the expectations that they'll all work extremely hard to get back. Where Harold's at to start the season, I wouldn't be able to tell you that right now. I know that he won't be practicing, but he'll be working hopefully to get him back. And since training camp has started, he's been in the facility, but he hasn't practiced. He hasn't been activated off PUP list, so that means he has not passed his physical, so it means he cannot play. And if we get to, now we're 2 weeks away from the season starting, it's getting closer and closer to where it looks like, Harold Landry's not going to be available for the start of the year. So he might be placed on PUP, where he has to miss 4 games. He might be placed on IR. We have to just wait and see. I hope he gets as healthy as possible. For the linebackers, after what Chad Muma has been the last couple of weeks, I don't have him making this roster. I think after on Saturday's game, that 4th down pass breakup, Nnamdi Obiazorin, kind of being that rookie, kind of having that potential out of TCU that we saw in college, that he gets the nod. KJ Britt has been great, and then you have your 2 starters in Robert Spillane and Christian Ellis. I really like what Obiazor has to bring to this team, so I have these guys making the 4 linebackers. For the corners, I have Gonzo Davis, Marcus Jones, Charles Woods, Karan Prunty, and Kindle Vildor. And I was hesitant to put Kindle Vildor on this list, but Saturday, he locked it up in a single drive, ladies and gentlemen. This was on one drive. This wasn't the whole entire game. This was on one singular drive. He had an interception, and it was called back thanks to Gabe Akis, but obviously a roughing the passer call. That was a bonehead play, so he gets the interception. Then a 2nd down rolls around. He has a pass breakup. Then 3rd down rolls around. He forces a 4th down with another pass breakup. He looked good during that drive. He looked really good, and he kind of has improved throughout training camp, so I think he gets the nod at corner, and the Patriots keep 6. So we'll see Marcellus Style, Kobe Minor. I'm sorry, guys, but you guys aren't making the team. And for the safeties, technically 5. Obviously, you have your special team specialist, Brendan Schooler, who's technically a safety, but he's a special teams guy. But I have an asterisk there, which we'll talk about in a second. But Del Pettis has earned it. Craig Woodson, Kevin Byers are starters. But John Saunders has looked absolutely awesome throughout these last couple of weeks in training camp. He had a pick in training camp today, which we'll get to on later today's video. But he has been great. And I think Mike Brown has kind of struggled a little bit, so I think Saunders gets the nod over him. But for Schooler, I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about Schooler because he's been nowhere to be found, and he has been a captain for this team for the last couple of years. He's been our Matthew Slater for the last few seasons, and right now, we have no idea when he's coming back. This is August 19th, and this comes from Mike Vrabel. He said, yeah, they've been rehabbing, but we won't put a timetable on the return. Brenden Schooler's not on PUP. He's on NFI right now, so that had an injury that did not happen in football, but if he's not ready, he's going to go on PUP. So I think he's going to go on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. So I definitely think that he's going to miss the first couple of weeks of the season. So that opens up another roster spot there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the Patriots can bring somebody in. But for special teams, I got 3 guys making the roster. It's your basic guys. Andy Borregales, Bryce Baringer, which we'll get into in just a second because there's a problem there, and Julian Ashby is going to be the long snapper. But they did sign Matt Hack today, which we'll break down in today's later video. But unfortunately, Bryce Baringer suffered an injury on Saturday, and he's going to miss some time. And then Vrabel spoke this morning and said this is serious enough that they have to sign a new punter going in. So they signed Matt Hack, which will break it all down. We'll see how long he's out. I hope it's not for a long term, but the Patriots had to sign a punter. We saw on Saturday that Baron Morton was punting the ball, and we did not expect your backup quarterback, to go in and be the punter. So we'll have to wait and see. I hope he's not all out for too long because he's one of our best punters, and he is a really, really good punter. Those are my 53-man roster projection, ladies and gentlemen. You guys, let me know how I did, and let me know what do you think the Patriots roster is. Grade it for me down in the comments section. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. I'm giving this an A-. I'm giving this a B+. I think that the starters are great. The depth needs a little bit of work here, but we'll see what happens. We're 2 weeks away, just about 2 weeks away from the regular season, and I can't wait. So make sure you hit that sub button, guys, because we're going to be breaking the Patriots down every single day here. And guess what? We are going to be live for every game. Thursday, we're going to be live for the Browns game. And then, of course, we got the Patriots against the Seahawks opening night of the NFL kickoff season. So hit that sub button right now. And as always, let's go Pats.